This lecture on T.S Eliot was delivered by Professor Ramjee Roy for English Honours students. T.S Eliot was one of the literary giants of the modern age. His emergence on the literary horizon was a momentous event of history. He played a pivotal role in shaping the form and content of modern English poetry and criticism. He had a genius for poetry which was matched and surpassed only by his genius for literary criticism. His poetic excellence lay in the exploration of the sordid realities of modern industrial civilization, written in an idiom which is entirely new, with its symbolic and elusive framework. He revolutionized both the form and content of modern English poetry. There are two phases of Eliot's evolution as a poet. He began his poetic debut with the publication of Prufrock and Geronson, in which he tries to discover his identity as a poet. Writing under the impact of the French symbolists like Baudelaire, Eliot expresses the immense poetic potentialities of the sordid aspects of the urban civilization. This phase reached its climax in the wasteland. It is the summit expression of his poetic vision, in which he presents an alarming picture of the war-ravaged world. Written in free verse, the poem seems to be a jumble of borrowings and quotations, but it registers with devastating irony the ugliness and uprootedness of modern civilization. But at the same time, it also tries to arouse the conscience of modern man for his spiritual regeneration. The light comes from the east because the poem ends on an Upanishadic message: Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The second phase of his poetry registers his deep earnings to live by faith, sick of the monstrous brutality of modern warfare. His heart longs for spiritual revival, and it is the only way to salvage the ailing humanity. In Ash Wednesday and the four quartets, Eliot appears more as a saint than as a poet. Besides poetry, Eliot also made his mark in the domain of literary criticism. If he is great as a poet, he is still greater as a critic. He changed the whole concept of literary criticism. His uh, famous essay, Tradition and the Individual Talent, is a landmark in modern criticism. In all his critical writings, he explores the inner dimensions of creative and critical pursuits. There is a give and take process between tradition and individual, in which both enrich each other. When, whenever the poet's creative self is at work, his critical self is also at work. It is only when they work in unison that uh, the uh, the poet finds a suitable objective correlative for uh, his uh, experience. In function of criticism and frontiers of criticism, he sets forth the norms of literary criticism. The aim of criticism is to promote a proper understanding of poetry and enrich and enlarge readers' experience.